Should I start over? I bought new Levi's the other day. I ordered them online. Man, they were labeled suggested retail price $58, and they're made in Egypt. God, what's happening? What's happening to this country when Levi's 501 jeans are made in Egypt? I'd much rather see them manufactured in the United States by undocumented workers. All right, time to don the fez. Time to put on my glasses. Greetings, fellow citizens. This is Citizen Kong, and welcome to another Fez Night. Tonight's Fez Night shall be called Fezzing Around. We're just fezzing around, fezzing around. Oh, it's hot today. It's almost too hot to be drinking tea. Yeah, this is October 2nd. It feels like one of the warmest days of summer. I'm trying to do another workaround. Hopefully it'll work. Still cannot consistently get my audio to sync up. This time I'm recording in photo booth, and then I will move it to the new iMovie, and if it doesn't work, I'll still be able to move it to the old iMovie, which takes forever. Now I got a little alarm going off here. Hold on a second here. This is reminding me to pay my auto insurance and something else. Can't give out too much personal information or Timmy will stalk me. He goes, oh, just Timmy this, Timmy that. Well, you sure talk about me, jerk. He had his little surrogate puppet, his little Timmy surrogate puppet, talking about coming over to District 9 again. How pathetic is that you keep having to show up at my door? You're just sad, just a sad old man. He says, I'm going to photograph the interior. Yeah, I can see him now. He's just going to come like totally wired for sound, you know, a little like camera hidden on his like boutonniere. He's wearing like a flower with a little camera hidden in it. Where else would Timmy hide a camera? Embedded in his little phone book he has taped to his stomach. What a strange old man. You're not a normal person, are you? You just can't relax and be a regular person. And he was talking about that whole thing. Look, other people get prepared. You know, you do that thing about that one time we were filming together and you say, because I said, hold on a second, I need to think of what I'm going to say. Yeah, Timmy, you don't need to prepare what you're going to say, because you just rattle off stuff. Please, people, please. Please, people, please. You have these lines that you say when you don't have anything to say. And your favorite one is, please, people, please. If you would do some preparation before, you wouldn't have to resort to saying, please, people, please. There's some other ones you do, but I can't remember what they are. Please, people, please. The other thing, you think you're like the best person ever on YouTube, the best person ever in real life. Basically, you're just a rude old man by showing up at my house like that and stalking me. I gave you the benefit of the doubt at first because you do, once in a while, it's like you constantly throw stuff at the wall and finally something sticks and you do have a really good idea, like that Colombian miner that was left behind. That was brilliant. That was really funny. But then you just take it and you just like grind it into, you make like 18 videos on that same subject and you just like, you just grind it into the ground till it's like, it's just stale. And all the rest of it's just crap. You even say so yourself. It's all crap. And now you're on this puppet kick. You just can't stop making videos with puppets. Have I talked about Timmy enough now? Do I need to get a restraining order on you? I'll have to drive by your house and write down your address and talk to the local police and see what the deal is with you. Does OB have its own police department, or is it under the sheriff's? It's probably under the sheriff's department. According to you, you have such a reputation. I'm sure the local fuzz knows all about you. It would be really funny if they go, never heard of the guy. That'd be funny. Yeah, I remember where you live, but to be honest, I don't think the way you think. I don't think like a criminal. I never even paid attention to what your address was. You know, what street you're on, or what alley you're on. One of those two. And what number. But I suppose if the local authorities needed that info, I would go over there and jot it down. I was thinking it would be fun to do a parody of your where you take your gun and you wave it in the camera. Maybe I might still do that. I shouldn't talk about ideas I had. I was going to do a photography video, and I gathered up some photos and stuff, but no, I haven't gotten around to it. I have other press. I'm doing an epic. I'm doing this major laundry day, which is way more loads of laundry than I normally do. I mean, each week I do a load, but a load. So yeah, that stuff's out in the dryer. Hey, I started watching Boardwalk Empire, and I got through the first season, and I think I watched the first show of the second season. Kind of lost track. I think I did. I'm waiting for the next one to come out. And it's really cool. Steve Buscemi is one of my favorite actors. And I really love, like, why do I have to be Mr. Pink, you know, in Reservoir Dogs? And what I like about the guy is that he's not some, like, you know, Rambo, Sylvester Stallone, or frigging, you know, Rutger Hauer, or whoever, Jean-Claude Van Damme, or whatever, these stupid fucking action hero types. He plays a regular guy. But sometimes he plays a regular guy that's just, like, scary. You don't want to mess with him. That's what... I find that really appealing. Have any of you seen his lesser-known film called Trees Lounge? It's a really good movie. And it's just this East Coast... I don't know where it is. Jersey, whatever. I usually don't relate too much to those East Coast films, but I liked Trees Lounge a lot. Speaking of which, one of the things I like about Boardwalk Empire, I'm going to have to look this up. Steve Buscemi sounds Italian, but he seems more Irish, and the part he plays on Boardwalk Empire is is an Irish, you know, corrupt politician. And I totally do not really get in. I don't get excited about gangster films. Especially modern ones. Maybe one of the older ones like White Heat. It's kind of cool. But the modern ones, you know, the Godfather and all that, it all centers around the Italian mob. And yeah, the whole like use bada bing, you know, it really rubs me the wrong way. The whole Frank Sinatra, you know, Dean Martin, the whole, you know, Italian mob. That's what I thought about was kind of cool about the Kennedys. They were Irish mobsters. But anyway, the first time I saw a mobster movie that I really enjoyed, in my adult memory, was Miller's Crossing, which centered on an Irish mobster and his fellow hoodlums. And they also brought in Jewish and Polish mobsters, which they don't get enough, I don't think they get enough attention. It just wasn't the Italians. The Italian mafia. They all had their own style, way of doing things, and their own stereotypes against the other ethnicities. Yeah, those greaseballs and those Greeks. Yeah, they have Greek mobsters on a Boardwalk Empire. So I enjoy it. I've been enjoying it. And the woman that plays the widow, the Irish widow. Oh. And that accent. Oh. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And they have, I was able to locate 2 episodes of the most recent season. What is it? Season 10 or series 10, as the Brits say, of initially on Netflix it's called MI5, but I think they just call it Spooks now. Season 10 of Spooks, which I've recommended before because I find it one of the most realistic. Not that I know anything about the way these things are done, but it seems real to me. And mainly because characters that you get involved in, you can get bumped off or kicked out or sent underground or tortured or whatever. You know, it's not like they play favorites. It's not like watching Star Trek, where you know that the guy in the red is the one who's going to die. You know, those are always the expendable ones. But Spock or McCoy or Kirk or whatever, you know, they'll always make it. You know, MI5's not like that. The only one who seems to just go on and on is Harry Pierce, the boss. But he's not in the field, so you know that kind of makes sense. You know, it's the people in the field. The ones that are out there doing the stuff, you know, the ones that are probably going to get bumped off. I'm checking the time here. Yeah, so it's too bad. I like Cunty Nunez. He's been very supportive of my videos in Fez Night and supportive of me, and he's fighting with my good friend Monk. I don't know. I don't know what got that started. And, you know, I think we've all been there, you know, that sort of situation. I don't want to take sides in this. It's just very awkward. And I'm not sure how all this got started. Not that Monk's the most likable guy in the world. What's his motto? I'm not here to be your friend. But Monk and his brother Stan did an outstanding job on their video Dance with Satan. I'd say you guys are getting better and better, and the writing was really tight. And for once, Stan, I like that you put your writing credit in there. You know, Dr. Mercurial. And my favorite line, the whole thing, was really had me laugh. I mean, there's full of great lines, but where Citizen Kong says, "I can tolerate an evil world, but I'll be damned if I'll live in a wacky one." Yeah, I have it featured on my channel, so if you haven't seen it, it's long, but I had no problem sitting through the whole thing. It's way more entertaining than sitting through a long Fez Night, right? You know, best cure for insomnia. Leslie Blood last week said something about my viewers. The only way they could watch this is if they were in an iron lung. Do they still have people in iron lungs? I mean, it was big during the polio thing. Hey, I'll take whoever I can get. I think iron lung people are a great demographic. An esoteric occultist came to my defense. Cheers, cheers. You're a good friend, and so did Cunty Nunez. You know, so I appreciate that. Yeah, they like Fez Night. Oh, real quick. I was going to try to keep this under 15 minutes, but I doubt I'll be able to do that. Yeah, I doubt I'll be able to do that. I should just sign off now. You know the Michael Jackson thing? Okay, the doctor's on trial, but the whole thing is Michael Jackson not needed, but he was paying a guy to give him drugs, okay? And if one doctor wasn't going to do it, he was going to find another doctor, till he finally found a doctor that had no scruples, that would do anything for money, and is technically not a good doctor. You know, he's not a real, I guess, whatever. He's like not board certified or something. I don't know. But he found somebody that would do it. And Michael Jackson wanted to be high on hardcore drugs, anesthetics, whatever. He claimed he needed it to sleep. Come on. A real doctor would say there's something else you need to change in your lifestyle. But Michael Jackson insisted he wanted the anesthetic. Hence his demise. So I don't really feel all that sorry for anybody in this involved. There's a greedy doctor who'll do anything for money, and some pathetic shell of a man that is, you know, that people can't say no to. You know, he's Michael Jackson. Everybody's going to say yes, and he's like, I want my drugs. Okay, yes, sir, Mr. Jackson. Nobody would tell him. Nobody could say, fuck you, Michael. You're fucked up. There's something really wrong with you. Nobody could stand up to him, even his own family. The protesters in New York. You know, I had this whole long tirade in my mind when I was first jotting stuff down. But, you know, this whole thing, I don't know exactly. Basically, the protest is about economic situation. They're protesting on Wall Street, you know, and a bunch of them ended up getting arrested on the Brooklyn Bridge. And, you know, it's clear. You know, some of us that are old enough to remember, when we were in school, we had, you know, part like our civics lessons. And those were the parts of the class that taught us to do our civic duties, you know, to vote and watch out for others and not litter and, you know, basically to be a good citizen. Well, apparently they no longer have those classes. And there's a thing where it became uncool to be a good citizen. And there's this whole me, me, me. During the 80s, during the height of the Reagan era, it wasn't called the me generation for nothing. There was a good reason it was called the me generation. It was about what's in it for me. Remember that jewelry that used to say, it said #1 that was popular too in the 80s? It was all about me and not caring for the other guy. And their icon was Ronald Reagan. And this movement that's still carrying on with the Tea Party and stuff, like you know, screw those people, you know, it's every man for themselves. And that's not part of civics. And that's caused the shrinking of the middle class. And it was part of those little films that they would show as part of your civics lessons about how important it is that we have a strong middle class. That's what made America great. That's what made us better than Russia. That's what made us better than Germany. That's what made us the best country in the world, according, you know, to them. You know, and our Superman, you know, TV show, Truth, Justice, and the American Way, was that we had a powerful middle class. That a guy could just graduate from high school, go to work in a factory, and buy a house and raise a family. That's what made our country great. You know, I certainly can't do any of those things on manufacturing wage. Not that I really want to, but but if I wanted to, you know. And then there's this notion on the right that if we help the rich, if we give them a break, you know, give them a tax break, cut their taxes, that they're going to like, oh, you know what, I'm going to build more factories, I'm going to give more jobs, and the middle class will reemerge. Well, none of those things happened because the rich, when our country had a strong middle class, it wasn't because of the rich. It was because of social democracy, like Roosevelt and the GI Bill, at the height of where, I have to do this alarm thing again, at the height of our middle class, or strong middle class. It wasn't because the rich were voluntarily saying, I want to pay more taxes. No, it's because the government created the situation from the FDR era, you know, and the unions started getting stronger. And now our middle class is so, the banks and you know, the rich people, they're getting all the breaks. They're getting too many breaks. So that stuff needs to be put back the way it was in the 50s. And in my opinion, it's gotten so bad that even Madison Avenue, the advertisers, have come up with a new strategy. I mean, it's always been like there's a demographic like yachts and limousines and et cetera, and servants' quarters and all that. Those are marketed to the rich, okay? And then everyday products like Tide detergent, you know, roll-on deodorant. Basically, there was no special, like, you know, they were trying to get the youth crowd, whatever, but it wasn't about how much money you have. Well, Madison Avenue is rethinking that. They're going to create like a two-tiered thing where they're marketing towards the poor and marketing towards the rich. And the everyday products, you know, like dishwashing liquid and toothpaste. Because they're saying, like, the poor, they have to really, they go shop at 99-cent stores and places like that. So they need the cut rate version. And then there's the deluxe version that's going to be marketed to the rich. That's how bad it's gotten. And so these protesters, I hope more people, damn, if they have a protest in San Diego, I'll try to go. Yeah. I haven't been to a good protest in a long time. You know, it's funny. I remember like, all back in the late 80s, I was working for a guy and there were some people protesting. He goes, yeah, you know, so all these protesters, it's because they don't have a job. They don't have a job. That's why they're out protesting. So according to his definition, anybody that was protesting is somebody that doesn't have a job. Well, what about the Tea Party protesters? I didn't hear the right going, those people should have jobs. Obviously, they don't have jobs. I didn't hear the right saying that, and yet they were out protesting. All right, I won't be able to stick this on the Citizen Kong channel because I did go over 15 minutes. What else is it going to say about the rich and poverty? Oh, and the notion that the rich, oh yeah, let's help them out. They're voluntarily going to help us. Show me where in history that's ever happened. Okay? Where? It does not happen naturally. The rich tend to concentrate their wealth, and then you have this vast majority of the poor. And this goes way back till they first started civilization, the feudal system here in China and in Japan and in Europe. That was the first form, you know, of some guy that could raise an army with enough might, you know, vanquish the other guy in the other castle, and then somehow unite other people, like basically the way, it's the same way that the mobsters work. And when I'm watching Boardwalk Empire, it's the same sort of thing. Here's one kingpin and another kingpin. And am I strong enough to take out your guys and then take over your turf? Or do we have to come to an agreement? And that's the same way the feudal system worked. So you have these guys concentrated with wealth and power at the top. Then they have their lackeys that they sort of give out power, but they serve this person. And then you have like this person, you know, the bottom tier, where the guys are actually on the street, you know, soliciting prostitutes, selling drugs, collecting money, you know, and there's no charity in that. And then you move on to your regular like kingdoms and your whole countries and the nation states. Until democracy is the only thing that brought that about. And then communism's not really fair. What it does is it basically breaks the middle class, you know, the Soviet style of communism, and tries to make everybody equal, but there's still like this small concentration. So at least you don't have like dirt poverty, you know, but everybody gets, it's like the vast majority don't have a real quality life, but at least they're not starving, you know, they're not picking through garbage dumps like they do in India, you know, where you have the poorest of the poor, the people have to live on rats, you know. There's another ancient civilization, India, and what they had before the Brits came and took them over, their system, you know, caste systems. Show me where in history does helping the rich make it better for the poor? You can't find an example. It's just the government, democracy comes along, the people vote, they vote in a man that says, hey, look, I'm going to help you out. And we're going to put laws in place that's going to help you out. We're going to regulate the rich. We're going to regulate the banks. And all this trouble started when, you know, and ask Witzke, man, he's the expert on this. What is it, Glass-Steagall Act and all that? That, you know, all I know is that after the first depression, the banks were regulated. Wall Street was regulated because they didn't want this to happen again. And then little by little, the right chipped away at these regulations, and that's what then we have now with the housing debacle. If those regulations were in place, that wouldn't have happened. All right. That's it for my Fez. I'm going to go back to doing some laundry. All right, everybody. Citizen Kong, thank you for watching. How do I end this? I go something like, oh, excuse me. How do I end this show? I usually go something like, thank you for watching Fezzing Around. Cheers.